Well, hello. We are live and welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming into If You Think You Can. And there's greatness within, greatness within. Oh my goodness. Yes, there is. There's greatness within you. So let's get started. We are in chapter 1 and we're doing part 3. And that is actually on page 18. On page 18, if you've already purchased your own book. The book is by Arthur T.J. Hossington, and it's the 13 laws that govern the performance of high achievers. Yes, and it is entitled If You Think You Can. Let's get started. All right. The author says, I have also discovered many people who quietly excuse their lack of achieving by convincing themselves that they are too young and inexperienced. I too found myself giving in to this way of thinking, and it caused me not to act on numerous opportunities. I also noticed others who were once convincing themselves that they were too young to achieve a particular goal. Now, convincing themselves that they are too old. The fact is, neither is true. Age is not a prerequisite for success. For instance, actors Matt Damon and Ben Affleck were 11 years old when they found a quiet area in school, in the school cafeteria, and held meetings to talk about their latest acting projects. At 15 years old, George Parker created one of the most successful games ever produced, Monopoly. What was the secret that led two young men to create the internet search engine, Google, or three young men to create the video sharing website, YouTube, which we're on right now, and turn them both into billion-dollar successes? The list could go on and on with other examples, such as Facebook's founder, Mark Zuckerberg, and even the legendary co-founder of Apple Inc., Steve Jobs. When he started Apple at 21 years old, what secret did these individuals possess that enabled them to create enormous success at such a young age? At the other end of the age spectrum, what about people like Jack Welch, Sam Walton, or Dave Thomas, who funded the Wendy's fast food restaurants? All these guys were just saying that no one is too young or no one is too old. That's not the problem. Guys, let's go right to, we're looking at, let's back up here for a minute. Okay. All right. I'm going to go now to page, as soon as I give a turn here. All right, chapter 1, we're going to go. And I'm going to go to, just bear with me right here on this one, because I saw something very, very interesting that I wanted to share with you. Okay, so I need to back up just a smidgen. Okay, just a smidgen. Okay, I'm going to find it right. Let's look right here. All right. What about Lance Armstrong, the winner of the Tour de France, 7 consecutive times? Unfortunately, In earlier editions of this book, I used him as an example of a high achiever when I wrote, at age 25, cancer forced Lance to stop writing. The disease had spread to both his lungs and his brain. And he was told he wouldn't live more than a couple of years. In his autobiography, Lance recalls that he was scared and often had thoughts that he might never write again. He even said that there were times when he felt like giving up. Even so, he decided to fight back, get healthy, and get on his bike. He made the decision not to give in to the illness, instead to do everything in his power to rise above the challenge. Have you ever done that? When others would have given up, Lance decided to press forward. He has not only made history, but he is the world champion because of his decision to fight and fight hard. For years, Lance stood as an example of the will to succeed, but I digressed. It was unfortunate that years later he was discovered to have been doping, and his decision to take shortcuts led to his disgrace. Lance had stopped following his conscience, and when you do, there's always a choice to have, or to there's always a choice to be in the long run. Likewise, it was a series of decisions, poor decisions that was made. And we're going to find something else here, guys. Hold on for 1 second. We need to go back here. Okay. And we got it here. We're back. Right. There we are. Sorry about that. Okay. There was a series of poor decisions, that was made by this guy. We can get a better shot there for you. Yes. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. All right. So the author is just saying that sometimes we can make poor decisions, okay? And when we do, there's going to be consequences. All right, moving on. Likewise, it was a series of poor decisions that led to the death of Elvis Presley, John Belushi, Kurt Cobain, and many others. It was the decisions of the executives that led to the collapse of Enron, right? Okay? MCI, WorldCom, and others. It was the decisions of Bernie Madoff that hurt the lives of so many people, which landed him in prison. Even when you look at the differences between Gandhi and Hitler, it was not only their beliefs and ideals, but also their decisions that led to their actions and determined their place in history. One lived by conscience, and the other lived by conscience, a moral code that leads to inner peace. Unfortunately, we don't always recognize the impact of our decisions. Most of the time, the effect doesn't reveal itself for months or even years. We all make decisions that, at the time, may seem inconsequential, yet turn out to have far-reaching outcomes. Think of a moment about the decisions you made this morning. When you awoke, did you quickly get out of bed, or did you lie there debating, hoping to gain a few more minutes of sleep? Now, I mean, we do that, right? Right? Okay? And guys, if you come in, leave a chat, I should see it. All right. So you don't want to get up. You said, what did you eat? Did you leave your home on a positive note, or did you rush out of the door paying little attention to your family members? Did you effectively plan your day? When you entered your workplace, oh gosh, When you entered your workplace, what was the first thing you did? Did you greet people with a smile? You probably didn't give those decisions much thought when you made them. However, could they potentially affect your future? Yes, that's my answer. Definitely. Imagine for a moment that you slept an extra 30 minutes a day. Mm-mm-mm. Could that eventually have a negative impact on a goal you're working on? You bet. If you ate an unhealthy breakfast or overate, could that eventually have an impact? Sure, it could. If you made a consistent habit of it. If you made a decision in your relationships to show more love and patience, could that affect the quality of your relationships? Of course. Again, every decision you make will either keep you on the course to achievement or lead you away from it. Rarely does a person lose a relationship overnight. It starts with one poor decision that can lead to a series of poor decisions. You don't simply wake up one morning having lost weight. Oh, would that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? Nor do you reach the point of obesity immediately after eating. You don't become a chain smoker by smoking one cigarette. Neither do you wake up one day with all your goals achieved and living the life of your dreams. Although these decisions may seem minor and insignificant, they illustrate the point. Now, here is where decisions really shape your destiny. When you decide to press forward despite defeat, wow, wow. When you decide to take action despite your fears and worries, when you decide to maintain an empowering perspective, even when things aren't going your way, when you decide to grow a backbone and cease to be indecisive, how about making the decision to go after what you want and to go after your dreams? These are the decisions that have an explosive impact on your life. Start right now by making a decision to stop defending your habits. Stop complaining about your circumstances and start doing something about them. Stop blaming others or your past for why you aren't achieving what you want to achieve. Make a decision to be happy and from here on out. Make a decision to have a higher self-esteem. Make a decision that you are a person worthy of your goals. Most importantly, make a decision to believe in yourself. I repeat, wherever you are today is simply the result of your thoughts and beliefs. These transform into desires, which lead to decisions. If you want to change your life, then change your decisions. It's that simple. Ultimately, the type of decisions that will drastically improve your chances of success will be true decisions. When a true decision is made, you cut yourself off from all other options, except those to which you are committed. In his book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill shared a story of a general who sailed across the sea to engage in a war with another country. He knew that his men would be greatly outnumbered and that they would need to be highly committed and motivated if they were going to win. Once his army had exited the ship with all their supplies and made it to the shore, he ordered the ships to be burned. As his men watched the ships go up in flames, the general turned to them and said, "We either win or die." Oh my goodness. We either win or die. The general made a true decision. In fact, the word decision comes from the Latin root meaning to cut off from. And there comes a time in every person's life when making a true decision is necessary. A decision where you believe so deeply in what you want that there is no option for turning back. Yes, it will be necessary at times to change decisions along the way as they relate to your strategy, but your overarching purpose will not change. Getting to the point of making a true decision takes time. Have you ever felt frustrated because you waffle on a decision? I must have tried losing weight a dozen times before I actually did it. I once I was once 40 pounds overweight. That's the author speaking. It's not me. I was once 40 pounds overweight, but it wasn't until I made a decision that I wanted the fat gone that I lost the weight. Now, I have some pounds overweight, but not 40. And I am and have made a decision that it must go. I had to get to the point where changing my eating and exercising habits lasted more than a few days and weeks. Otherwise, I kept falling back into the same old patterns. To become committed, I had to get to the point of do or die. As a result of making this true decision, I naturally and consistently began taking action that led to losing the weight in less than 90 days. In life, once you make decisions, you must take responsibility for them. On several occasions, I have encountered people who have made poor decisions that cause challenges to enter their lives. Often, these people get discouraged and assume a victim mentality. This leads them to blame life rather than their own decisions that contributed to the problem. They forget that although they have the power to choose, they never have the power to completely choose the consequences of their choices. If we want different outcomes, we must begin making different decisions. One of the great thieves that robs people of the ability to make true decisions is indecision and doubt. What causes indecision? Fear. Fear. Fear of making a wrong decision. Fear of what others will think. Fear of the unknown. Fear is the greatest of all thieves. Indecision often costs us more than making the wrong decision. Why? Because the price is paid over the long haul in missed opportunities. The very opportunities that can help you achieve what you want. Any decision is better than no decision. Achievers understand that they will not always make perfect decisions, but they know they can grow from the wrong ones. President Theodore Roosevelt said, "He who makes no mistakes makes no progress." Wow. He who makes no mistakes makes no progress. He who makes no mistakes makes no progress. Achievers see each decision and its outcome as stepping stones towards reaching their final goal. I once had the privilege of speaking to Charles Tremendous Jones. It was during a time in my life when I found myself struggling to decide whether to stay in or leave a business I had helped create. Ultimately, my desire was to live my dream of speaking and writing, something that required a drastic change in my direction. However, like many people, I wanted my dream, but I also experienced fear. What if I make the wrong decision? What if I don't have what it takes? I explained my struggle to Mr. Jones, at which point he responded, we weren't born to make right or wrong decisions. We were born to make decisions and then make them right. Did you get it? That's big. We weren't born to make right or wrong decisions. We were born to make decisions and then make them right. He wasn't suggesting that you shouldn't strive to make wise decisions, because we should. There are times when calculated decisions are necessary. He also wasn't suggesting that there weren't right or wrong decisions in life, because there are. In my case, either decision would have been fine. Besides, had I stayed, I would have been able to provide comfortably for my family, although I may not have been completely happy. What Mr. Jones was saying was that we all know deep down what is best for us, yet we become paralyzed by fear. He insisted that both decisions would be worthy, but he challenged me to go for my dream. This was what I really wanted to do. Anyway, 2 months later, I was working with Tony Robbins. Making decisions requires faith and belief in others and in oneself. Faith enables us to firmly believe that in the end, things will work out, even if initially the outcome is slightly off course. Often when we are unable to see the end result or unable to predict the future, we feel the safest decision is to make no decision at all. Just as Mr. Jones gave me a little push when I needed it most, I too am giving you a push, encouraging you to take the leap. Yes, there will be consequences, but if the goal is worthy and you're committed with a plan, apply and each law in this book, then in time your goals and dreams will be realized. In his book, The Adventure of Leadership, Hal Kopp, the founder of the North Face Company, an outdoors and mountaineering equipment company, shares the experience of an expedition that turned disastrous. He tells of the Whitaker brothers, Lou and Jim, who led the expedition. They were tall and strong men standing over 6 feet. While crossing a glacier in Alaska, one of the members of the expedition team fell and broke his leg. He needed medical attention immediately. They were out in the middle of nowhere on top of Mount McKinley, and time was running out as the sun was beginning to go down and the temperature was dropping fast. They radioed for a jet helicopter, but it was unavailable. In its place, a standard helicopter was called to perform the rescue, but it did not do well in high altitudes. Finally, the helicopter arrived. They quickly loaded the climber on board, but the added weight of the injured man prevented the helicopter from lifting off the ground. The air was too thin at such a high altitude. As it began getting dark, the Whitakers were forced to improvise. Hap writes, they each grabbed a rail of the helicopter and heaved it off the edge of the cliff. Heaved it off the edge of the cliff. The Whitakers watched as the helicopter went down like a rock through thin air. Hap adds, finally, halfway down, the blades of the helicopter caught air and it flew off toward the hospital. Talk about decisions, that was a big one. Sometime later, after the experience, Hap asked Jim Whitaker, what if it didn't work? Jim replied, sometimes you just know. Hap goes on to say, obstacles will inevitably pop up on the path to fulfilling your passion. And when they do, like the Whitakers, You must listen to your instinct, your institution, your intuition, that little voice deep inside that just knows. You must listen to your instinct, your intuition, that little voice deep inside that just knows. So it is with you. You have the same instinct and intuition, that little voice deep inside that just knows. So have faith, be bold, and make a decision. Make one today, make one now. And when you are unsure, make the best decision according to your current level of awareness and the resources you have at that moment. Just do the best you can and correct course when necessary. As long as the sum total of your good decisions outweighs any poor decisions, you are moving in the right direction. With each decision, regardless of the outcome, you will have greater knowledge and be better prepared for what is to come. Wow. I invite you to stay right here, right here. Let's get a couple of application suggestions. Number one, what decisions have I made in the past or continue to make that prevents me from achieving my goals? And number two, ask yourself, what new decisions must I make right now that will enable me to achieve greater success, and personally or professionally, that will enable me to achieve greater success personally or professionally? These are two applications that we need to apply. So we are going to pick this up in the law number 2, which is actually literally going to be chapter 3. And we're going to be in law number 2. When we come back to the next video, demanding the best from yourself. You don't want to miss it. You do not want to miss it. This is the Encourager Queen C. Thank you so much for tuning in. We can't wait. Like and share and subscribe. We'll see you right here in the next video.